Hello and welcome. I'm Hala Alawi, Atmosphere Press's Book Publicity and Events Manager. Thank you so much for joining us for day two of our 2025 Writers Summit. The Atmosphere Press Writers Summit is a completely free and entirely virtual two-day writers conference where you have the opportunity to connect with fellow writers who are serious about their publishing goals. Whether you're preparing your manuscript, exploring your publishing options, or figuring out how to promote your book once it's actually out into the world, this summit features 8 digestible sessions that will give you real, practical insights from industry experts. In these sessions, we'll be hearing from published Atmosphere Press authors, learning about book coaching and marketing strategies, and discovering how Atmosphere Press can support you at every stage of the process. In this panel in particular, we'll be hearing a joint talk on social media and email marketing with our guests, Karli Stevens and Karli Fitzgerald. Book publicity is a challenge for any author, whether you're promoting your debut or the fifth book in a series. If you take charge of your online presence by leveraging social media profiles and your email list, though, you can maximize your reach to help your books reach so many more readers. You're also going to have the opportunity for Callie and Karli to answer your questions during the Q&A portion of the event. So at any time, please do use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen to send in your questions. You can also check the Answered tab in that Q&A box to see answers to questions that have already been posed. And just for attendees of this panel, we are running an exclusive giveaway for a free social media consultation session with Karli. The winner will be selected at random, and I will announce them at the end of Callie and Karli's panel. And one more thing before we get into their talk is that this panel is brought to you by The Right Atmosphere, a podcast for writers. The Right Atmosphere is a forthcoming podcast from Atmosphere Press that will feature experts from across the publishing industry giving bite-sized interviews, advising authors on all sorts of steps in the publishing process. It's kind of like a micro version of this writing summit. The Right Atmosphere will premiere on May 21st, so keep your eyes peeled for the first episode to drop on all streaming platforms this spring. We'll also be accepting applications for guest appearances at that time. As always, you can stay tuned to our newsletter, The Launchpad, to be the first to receive updates. And you can learn more about The Right Atmosphere from the links that I will put in the chat for everyone as well. With that, I am so thrilled to introduce our guest speakers. Callie Stevens is a born and raised Wisconsinite. She traces her deep-seated connection with the written word back to when she was just 8 years old, discovering the power of articulating her thoughts and emotions to connect with others on a deeper level. With a BA in English and minors in communication and creative writing, she has dedicated over a decade to merging her creative pursuits with her professional marketing career. Callie remains an avid poet and storyteller, finding inspiration in the everyday moments that shape our lives. Karli Fitzgerald is an avid reader with a love for literature who manages social media for Atmosphere Press. She helps authors grow their audience and connect with readers by creating engaging content and building online communities. Karli's work supports Atmosphere Press's mission to provide authors with a collaborative and personal publishing experience. With years of experience in digital marketing and social media for creative industries, Karli has led campaigns that boosted engagement and expanded reach. Her passion for storytelling and books shapes her approach, helping authors share their voices authentically. Karli's skills in content creation and strategy help Atmosphere Press and authors thrive and build meaningful relationships with their readers. And with that, Callie and Karli, the virtual podium is yours.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Hala. And thank you so much for being the spearhead on this and all of our teammates and all the authors during this great summit. It's been great 2 days so far. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Callie, and my co-host is Karli Fitzgerald. We are going to be talking about email marketing and social media marketing for authors. So just for a little housekeeping, as the great introduction Hala just gave, I am the marketing manager for Atmosphere Press. What does that mean? I collaborate with the CEO and the team to shape the company's brand identity and develop resources for you to inspire you to get that book out there. I do have well over a decade of marketing experience, and I am a passionate poet. Like Kayla said, I've been writing since I was 8 years old. Poetry has been my voice. So I understand the need to want to get that writing out there to make people feel what they want to feel. And I've actually put that into my marketing career where I've blend creativity with strategy to elevate content and engagement. And that's something that I put into our own email marketing for Atmosphere. What I'm going to be talking about is some of the most common questions I've received, and just to give a little bit more in depth of exactly what you could do for your own email marketing. It's funny because Terry M. Brown just had her fantastic summit speaking before us, and she gave great insight into both email and social media marketing. And I actually learned stuff from her as well. So I love that we are able to be together and be able to share the same passion for things that maybe we just don't know a whole lot about. My first thought is nope, email has not gotten lost in the marketing shuffle. With all this technology that we have, you would think that people would get so sick of emails. But honestly, no, it's not. It's one of the best ways to have a direct audience access. It allows you to establish that personal connection, and it is one of the most cost effective marketing. So, most email platforms, I will say most, depending on your goal, they are pretty cost effective. So, if you're looking for a platform such as MailChimp, Constant Contact, we use HubSpot. There's Active Campaign. There are so many resources out there. It's important to really research each one of them to figure out what in the long run do you want out of your email marketing. If you're just starting out and you just want to do basics, MailChimp or Constant Contact. But if you want to figure out why is my email going into spam so much, Active Campaign and HubSpot are one of the more advanced that you can do. Plus, since most email providers are free, like Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, your readers have free access to that as well. So it's that very nice cost effective to engage. A lot of the questions that I get mostly is suggested strategies for list growth. And one of them I'm going to suggest is engaging giveaways. Now, some of you probably already know this. You're like, okay, I get it. And here's a giveaway to my book. Well, that's one of them. So attracting giveaways is great, but also what else can we do? That your email list is supposed to be that first. Get there first. You will be the one to get this right away. A skincare company actually came out with a really good email campaign that I saw. They had enticed people to sign up for the email newsletter, and on a certain date, they would get a code to access the website to purchase the skincare before anyone else got access to the website. So think of some ways to really make email signups a little bit more fun again. Pop-up signups. If you're ever on Atmosphere Press website, you will see that we have a pop-up right away. And we offer, tips, tricks, free books even. But my main thing with pop-ups is if you are going to be, your schedule and you can do, let's say, 2 newsletters a week, put that in your pop-up. Say, hey, you'll get 2 newsletters a week. But also the important thing is to follow up on that and to promise them what you promised them in the launch. I've signed up for many newsletters where they say, yeah, we do every single day. 2 months go by, not in my spam, nowhere. So part of the pop-up is to get your signups, but it's also the first introduction to you as a brand, as a person, as an author. How are you establishing trust right away with these pop-ups? Next is social media promotion. Sometimes every now and then you will see on our own social media, hey, sign up for the launch pad. This is a great way to get people who maybe aren't always on, emails to see this and be like, okay, why should I bother giving you my information? This is just another sneak peek of saying, hey, we don't post everything on social media. Go to our newsletter for be to have the first access. Next is partnership newsletters. This is something that I think needs to be explored more for authors, depending on budget, goals, your writing community. Even Atmosphere Press, one of our sponsors, Winning Writers, we partner with them to have access to their email news list. Yes, you do have to put an incentive towards it. So that's why I'm always thinking, what is the goal of this purpose? What is the budget? Is this where we're going to go towards? You want to go towards communities that share the same thought of your own readership. For instance, if you're a mystery writer and you see a community that only goes out to romance novelists, there probably is not going to be the best match. Sure, you can ask them. They will gladly say yes and say, all right, I'll take that money. But for you as an author and a business person too, make sure that money is going towards a partner that has the same kind of readership, same kind of writing community as you, and you will see a great impact on your newsletter signups. Next, for engaging emails, how do we make emails engaging? I'm going to go over kind of some of the basics that maybe you already know, but maybe from a different perspective. So, engaging subject lines. Nowadays, all I'm seeing is, should I try more salesy? Should I add emoji? Should I do this? Should I do this? It's all based on who you are. If you're a straightforward author, book launching this month, that's great. That's going to get you opens. If you have someone on your list who's like, I already follow you on social media, I know your book is launching, why would I open it? The intriguing subject line would be book launch plus giveaway. So maybe they'll be like, okay, I already know your book launch, but there's a giveaway. Let's open that email. So really test it out. See what you can put out there to really get the people to open it up, but it still stay true to you. Valuable content. This may seem like a no-brainer, but still some people are like, what do I put in there? What kind of content do I put in there? And it really is based on what you want to showcase as your brand. Terry in the last summit, for those of you who joined us there, she made a great point that I agree with is you are your brand. So, what content do you want to put in there? Do you want an email that has tons of graphics and is colorful? If that's you as an author, do it. If you just want simple text talking to your reader, do it. If you want to mix and match, so you have one email that's more personalized coming from you, and the next that has graphics of your books and what you do, like you donated books or you had a book signing, that's another way. So really just depends on what you want your readers and audience to understand about you are, and don't be afraid to ask for feedback too, because that will give you the best content. Last is clear CTAs. What does that mean? CTAs really may seem obvious, but sometimes people put buy book now and you click the link and it goes to your about author page. That is not connecting the dots there. You want to be very clear with your CTAs. What do you want this person to do? Do you want them to contact you? Do you want them to sign up to go to your author event? What do you want them to do? So the blank of personalization. What is the blank of personalization? The power. So personalization does not just mean if you are a HubSpot user or use or a lot of the drag and drop like MailChimp, etc. They have now been able to allow you to put the first name of people in the hello part. That doesn't just mean that. It could also mean segmentation. So let's say you have a newsletter and you're seeing a lot of people clicking on the how to write XYZ. But then you have a core group of people that are only signed up because you give giveaways. That's okay. You can have one newsletter that, yes, has all the information in there, giveaways and XYZ writing, but then maybe there's something more to give to the giveaways and the XYZ writing people. Maybe there's an intimate writing group that you want to showcase just to the XY people. Maybe there's a special giveaway or maybe an incentive for the people who want the giveaways. So making it more personalized just doesn't mean saying their name and making them feel like they are the only one on the list. Even though they know that there's probably a lot of people on their list, it makes them feel like you are the only, they're talking to you only. It can improve engagement, enhance loyalty, and targeted promotions. The last question really I get a lot is about stunning email design. The main three components I say is consistent branding, engaging visuals, clear layout. Consistent branding doesn't just mean colors and fonts and logos too. It means how are you presenting yourself? Are you loud? Are you vivacious? Do you love colors? That's your branding. Are you more timid, more meek? Do you prefer just neutral tones? That's your branding. If you are not loud and outgoing, do not put loud and outgoing graphics. That just does not build trust. Show them who you are. Keep things simple if you want simple. Try designs if you want to try designs. And speaking of designs, engaging visuals. So sometimes nowadays emails don't want to have you have a ton of graphics in it because not everyone has the availability to see the graphics. But it's up to you. You need to practice where your list subscribers are going to the most for emails. Canva is actually used that tool that I love to use. This presentation was created in Canva. I'm a very avid Canva user. It is free, but you do need to purchase a bigger package if you want more wow. But it is a great tool to start with if you want to figure out what is my engaging brand visual. The next is clear layout. This may seem like I get it, but it all goes with the flow. Where do you want your readers to flow? Do you want them to stop at the top? Do you want them to keep reading? Do you want them to get to all the way to the end? Normally, if a layout and the content is worth reading, people will take the time to read. My rule of thumb is above the fold to have something up above and then a CTA right there right away. And if you have more text, continue on, and then a CTA right there. That way, you have the people who are like, okay, this graphic, I get it. I'm going to buy your book, click. But if the people want to read more, they see the CTA, they'll read, read, read. They'll see the CTA again, then they'll click. So you get the best of both worlds from the people who just prefer to scan versus the people who actually do want to continue reading. So, key takeaways. Emails is still a valuable tool. Don't be afraid of it. Don't think nobody is opening your emails. Go into it and just be yourself. Test strategies for list growth. Honestly, that's a big one of mine. Don't be afraid. If there's something that you feel like if you do something, the readers will say, what is this about? They're not your core demographic. Try a test strategies with a core demographic that you know can give you good feedback and honest feedback, and then roll it out to a bigger audience. Personalize when available and keep it true to you. My big takeaway for email is that a lot of it is newsletters are supposed to be that exclusive list. You can get content everywhere, but what makes it so someone signs up to your newsletter? What makes them coming back? What makes them open? What makes them stay on your list? Think of it like that. All right, thank you so much. And I'm going to pass it off to my co host, Karli.
Thank you so much, Callie. What a great talk about email marketing. Callie is a email marketing whiz. So it's so awesome to hear the wonderful ideas that she has and to help you as an author grow your email list. And I'm super excited to see that come to fruition. So thank you, Callie. Okay, so social media marketing. I am the social media marketer at Atmosphere Press. So I basically am strategically boosting engagement and expanding audience reach for Atmosphere Press and for its authors. I absolutely love reading. I'm an avid reader and I have a strong passion for storytelling through social media. I help authors build authentic connections with their readers and establish communities and really an organic relationship and build their readership. So why social media matters for authors? So this is kind of a loaded question, right? Why does social media matter? Why do I need to be on social media? So, and the answer to that, I have a few answers to that, but the first one that I want to share with you is that readers are on social, so you should be too. If you look up hashtags like Bookstagram on Instagram or Book Talk on TikTok, there are huge communities out there. And yes, they are in your genre and in your niche. They're waiting for their next read. People really want to connect with an author. People really want to connect with a series or a book, and they're really looking for that connection, and they're just waiting for you to give it to them. The second reason why social media matters for authors is for credibility. So when readers, even bookstores or other media will see you or look you up, what they see is what really, really matters. So if they look you up on the internet and they see, oh, I can't find them on social media, or I can't, I maybe see a review here or there on a different review site, but I don't see them anywhere else. People really want to see a connected, engaged author. If you don't have a huge following, that's okay. But what matters is that you're showing up every single, well, maybe not every single day. You're showing up and you're showing out on your social media platforms and really just showing that you are connected with your audience and you are engaged. The third reason why social media matters for authors is about consistency. So it's really not about overnight sales. Rome was not built in a day. It's about building a presence that people remember. The biggest thing I want you to take away from this talk is that consistency is key, and it's greater than virality. Everybody talks about going viral these days and how amazing it would be to go viral and get millions of views and tens of thousands of followers, which would be amazing. But the fact of the matter is that it just doesn't happen as often to everyone as it should. And also, what we are seeing with trends and the algorithms is that consistency and building a community actually does you better in the algorithm. So it's more important for you to show up every day, to be engaging, to be posting, than to actually be going viral. So, what to post? So, you're like, okay, Karli, I got that. I can show up, I can be consistent, I can, make sure that I'm building a community, I can do all of these things. But how do I show up? What do I do? What is it? How do I get there? So, what to post that actually works? I want you to think about posting about your book, posting about the process and your life, not just about your book. So be a real human being. Be a real person. Posts that feel human perform better than marketing speak, right? So a lot of times you can use what you have. You can use a blog post that you read that you enjoyed that you can share on your platforms, a good review about your book, a favorite quote from your book. A lot of times, short form video we are seeing perform a lot better than just static images. So you can make a video about a reading. You can do a short little reading of yourself reading your book and post that. There's so many different ways that you can really market yourself as a brand. As Kelly said, you are your own brand and person and author, and you really need to find ways to promote that aren't just the marketing speak, and you have it already. The beauty of this is that you've already done the hard part. You're already a writer, you're an author. It's getting your book out there. So you're already doing the hard stuff. It's just documenting that. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is strategy. The way that I like to look at strategy is that simple strategy equals sustainable strategy. If you overcomplicate things and really kind of say, oh, I'm overzealous with this and I'm going to post seven days a week and I'm going to post 4 times a day or whatever it may be, that is not sustainable for most people. If it is, then that's great. But for most people, that's not going to be sustainable. So the first thing you want to do when creating your strategy for posting is I would like you to pick 3 to 5 different content types you enjoy. So this could be writing tips, quotes, reviews, personal updates, a recipe that you made the other day, a flower that you saw on your walk, whatever it may be, and pick those content types. Those are going to become your content pillars. And your content pillars is what all of your posts will fall under. And then what you're going to do is you're going to post 2 to 3 times per week. That is plenty. If you can post more and it is sustainable for your life and your brand, then absolutely do that. However, 2 to 3 times a week has been proven that it is absolutely enough to be able to build and grow. Batch content. So when you're batching content, please do not think that you have to batch content for a month or 2 months. Personally, I like to plan my content over a month. So I start at the end. So it's almost the end of April. I will start planning my content for May over the next couple of days. And so all of my content is planned out. That's basically just my content pillars and the content types that I'm going to be posting. And then I like to batch my content the week before. So say today is Wednesday. So today I will be creating and scheduling. I use HubSpot, which is a wonderful scheduling tool. There's multiple tools out there like Later, Hootsuite, HubSpot. Scheduling tools are wonderful things, just like for email, for social media, so that you can schedule your posts so you're not having to actually click post at the time that you want to do it. So I am scheduling Wednesday's post for next week, this week. Tomorrow, I will schedule Thursday's post for Thursday next week, and so on and so forth. The biggest thing here is that I do not want you to overthink it. you build a rhythm that works for you. Just because doing a week in advance works for me or a month in advance planning works for me, it doesn't mean that it will work for you and your life. So making sure that you are building something sustainable for you is what is key. Common struggles and how to fix them. So here's a couple struggles that I have heard authors say and have issues with and how I can help fix them. So the struggle is, I don't know what to say. Here's a fix. Use writing prompts. Share what you're working on. Ask your readers questions. Really engage your audience. We on Atmosphere Press's Instagram, we share writing prompts every Wednesday. So if you're not sure where to get writing prompts, you can take them from us and share them with us as you write them too. The next struggle is I hate promoting myself. Self-promotion is bad. I want you to focus on storytelling, not selling. That's what we're all good at, is storytelling. So make sure that you are focusing on that and not selling books. And I promise you it won't feel as bad as promotion. The struggle, no one engages. Here's the fix. Are you engaging with others? Are you commenting? Are you following? It is a two-way street. So with the algorithms on the different platforms, almost every single one will reward you for spending time on the app. So you want to make sure that you are not only just spending time posting, but that you are spending time engaging on the app. This is extremely important for growth because what the algorithm is going to do is it's going to reward you for the time spent on the app and for the community and the relationships that you build. The more that you engage, the more you will grow. You do not need 10,000 followers. You need the right followers. Just recently, we started a new program called the Social Media Consultation Program. And I have seen a few authors go from, I don't know what to do, I'm overwhelmed, I hate social media, to this actually feels really fun and I love it. What works is showing up with your own personality and not maybe trying to mimic influencers or other people. That really is something that is working and helping people grow. Here's the best part. If you want help, you do not have to go it alone. So whether you want a custom plan or someone to just completely take over for you, there are options with Atmosphere. We offer support so that you can focus on writing and still show up online with intention. You can go on the next slide. So our first option is the social media consultation program. Hala mentioned that we are giving away a social media consultation with me, and I'm so excited about that. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to see who wins and how we can work together. So the consultation program is 3 one-on-one sessions, and these are tailored to your goals. So these are personalized and strategy-based based on your book, your audience, and your comfort level. I have done consultations with authors who don't have any social media presence, and I'm walking them through setting up their accounts. And I have done social media consultations with authors who have social media platforms and just want to grow their following. So it's really based on what you are doing with your social media platforms now. So we're going to cover what to post, how often to post, where to show up, and how to grow. You get to walk away with custom deliverables every single session and a custom content plan at the end that you can actually follow. The next option is Social Media Pro. I'm really excited about this one because this is a complete hands-off situation for authors that basically we're creating and posting content for you with no stress and no guesswork. So this will be monthly strategy check-ins to help keep everything aligned and really make sure. So you'll still have a say, but really we're just doing the heavy lifting. So this will include posts, captions, graphics, and engagement help. And you will have a professional, myself, making sure that you're showing up online with intention. You can see all about social media, Atmosphere social media services in the chat. Hala went and posted that for me. So it's right there. Both of those options are linked there. Next slide. Okay, so here are the key takeaways that I want you to remember. Social media matters for authors. Readers are on social media and they're waiting for you to find your book. Consistency is greater than virality. Remember that showing up every day on social media is what is important, not going viral. Keep your strategy simple. Remember to simplify to keep it sustainable for you and your life. And finally, Atmosphere is here to help, and we would love to help you with your social media needs. And if anyone has any questions, we can start with that Q&A portion.
Well, first, I just want to say thank you to both of you. That was a beautiful presentation, and already we're getting so much useful and really just helpful information. I know it can be kind of a minefield to navigate publicity and promotion for many authors because you come into it wanting to write a book, and now you have to do all this work you weren't expecting necessarily. So we've got a ton of questions coming in, so I'm excited to jump right into them. For anyone who has more questions, go ahead and type those in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. We're going to get to as many as possible. This first question is, do you recommend that authors use Brevo or other CRMs for the email promotion of a published book?
Honestly, I would. In my experience, using a personal email tends to get blacklisted because you're sending out to a big audience, right? So you don't want your personal email address to get spammed or listed for spam. So using a bigger platform would be much better because you get to reach a wider audience and have a little bit more tools at your disposal as well.
Yeah, and that feeds really well into the next question, actually, which is what email subject lines or other email practices are likely to trigger going to a spam folder?
Mhm. And full transparency, because Atmosphere is about transparency. We are figuring that out as well. What we have found is, there's lots of tips and tricks about don't use free, don't use emojis, and really it's a testing thing. I cannot give very clear advice because what would work for you may not work for another author. But shorter now actually subject lines are starting to get longer, but test it out. Do adding quotation, do adding emojis get you out of that spam? There are certain, if we're going to get tech, there are certain ways to help you get out of spam, and this is it's more about budget. And if you want to go more towards platforms and dashboards and companies that help you see the spam, that will cost you, but there are certain platforms to use as well. But I would say test it out, test out the length. Do numbers work better? Why, if you're wondering why is it in spam, test different stuff out. That is my advice, is always to test, because I cannot give you specific advice, but it's all about testing.
Absolutely, especially the internet landscape is kind of constantly changing, so that's a good point to be aware of. Another question about email, how long should an email be? I find that I receive many that are way too long to finish reading.
Good question. And I go back to, what is your goal as an author? What is your goal in these emails? Sometimes we forget that emails are our branding and we just write like we're writing to a friend, which is great because we do want to be more human. But also think about the attention span, and is your content needing to be long and lengthy? If it does need to be lengthy, maybe do a read more. Maybe there's a blog post that will explain it a little bit more. Or if there's a certain amount of audience that prefers to read longer, do a simple, well, it's not simple, but do an email that has shows to them a lengthy email and show to others a shorter email, because there are, especially in HubSpot, ways to tailor and personalize your email so one audience sees a lengthy one and one sees shorter. My advice is just, what are you trying to get out of this email? Do you want them to read at all? Do you want them to click a link? If you want to embed links in between, that's great, but think about, what is the goal of this? And if you really don't have a goal, again, test it out. You will hear me say test it out a lot, but that's because, just like Kayla said, everything is changing constantly. So it's really just figuring out what works best for you, and don't fall prey to what every other author is doing. If it works for them, you want to try it, great. But remember who you are and what your book is about and promote that book the way it should be.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Callie. This next question, what do you think about monetized newsletters like Substack and Patreon?
Good question. I really haven't had a whole lot of experience with that side. So I think I'm not the best person to answer that, but I do know others that have. Again, it depends on your goal. It really does depend on your goal. I my advice would be research. What email works best for you? We get so concerned with having to be perfect all the time and making sure we don't go into spam, and we can't control everything. So it's just about what is best for you and what you want to get out there. Again, test. There's nothing wrong with testing. There's nothing wrong with trying a Patreon and then being like, okay, it works for me, cool, we'll try it, but it may not work for the other author, and that's okay. So it's just all about what goals are you trying to get? What is your budget? And what is your long-time promotion for your book too? Don't forget about the book too. Like what is your strategy for this book? How do you want to roll it out? That's key.
Yes, I think it can be really easy to get lost in the sauce, so to speak. So I like that you're saying, don't forget about the actual book.
Yep. Yep.
This next question, this is for Carly. Do you feel that cross-genre posting helps? I'm a poet shopping my novel. Will posting more from my poetry readings help in that community building and visibility or hamper the progress?
I absolutely think it will help. I think being able to cross post across genres is something that is only going to grow your audience and not really hinder it. Um, I don't. I love reading poetry and I also love reading fiction. So I think there's a lot of people out there like me, I mean, as readers that absolutely love both. So I think that is absolutely something that would be a good tool.
Yes, definitely. I think expanding your author brand in that way can
Yeah,
definitely highlight your abilities in a good way.
right.
Another question for Carly. Since you already touched on this service a little bit, I was wondering if you can expand. How do you feel about having a proxy for certain social media? This would definitely help people of a certain age who don't use social media much, if at all.
Absolutely. This is really where Social Media Pro, Atmosphere Social Media Pro was born. This is why, because hiring an assistant or an agency is really helpful because if it's something that you still want to show up online and you still want to be authentic and you still want to have kind of create that readership and that community online, but you don't want to do it yourself. You are in the business of being an author. You do not want to be in the business of marketing a book, which is what I'm here for. So I absolutely love that. I think that there is value to learning to do something on your own, which is why we also offer the consultation program. But I also think that there is value in understanding that this is just not something that I'm into and letting professionals kind of handle it for you. So I think that there is value in both of those things.
Yes, absolutely. It's kind of nerve-wracking to think about, is that okay? And do people do that? And it's
Yes,
definitely something that's worth exploring.
absolutely.
Mhm. Another question about social media. I've never really consistently used social media in a professional writer context, only in a personal or social context. How would you recommend transitioning? Is the best choice simply to create um, sorry, a separate, fresh social media presence for writing?
Okay, so that's a great question. And that really just depends on what your current audience looks like. For some people, I would say absolutely like create a Facebook author page. I heavily recommend that. Having a separate author page connected to your personal Facebook account is going to be with Meta. Sometimes logistics are a little scary and hard. But I do think having a personal page connected to a professional author page is the best way to go about that on Facebook. Now, on Instagram, I also recommend having like an authorship page. There's so many different fun ways that you could put it. If you put like your author name writes books or your author name books, or be creative with how you want to kind of present that to the world. And that really kind of separates you as, me. Like if I were an author and I were saying, here's pictures of my kids and my dogs and everything, and here's a book that I wrote. You can still absolutely share your book with your family and friends, but I think that you're trying to grow and kind of cultivate a new audience with the new pages. So it depends on how you really want to market your book, but overall, I would say and recommend, yes, you need new fresh pages.
Good to know. I get that question all the time, so I'm glad to hear your
Yes.
perspective on that. Another question, this could be for social media or email marketing, but how do I keep things fresh if I want to write a sequel? So basically, maintaining social media presence for longer.
Yeah, I can answer that question, Callie, if that's okay with you. I think keeping things fresh is very important long term. You don't want to be using the same graphics or the same photos or the same content over and over and over again. Keeping things fresh and new, as for us at the press, that means posting about new books, new reviews, new things all the time. As an author, I would absolutely just, again, I talked about this a little bit, but show your life and the process, not just your book. And I think that everyone lives their life so different day to day that I think that it's really easy to keep things fresh. But I also think that maybe, sharing snippets of if you're writing a second book, sharing snippets of that book before it even comes out is something that is really awesome that you could do. Sharing imagery from that book, sharing, small little sentences or little teasers would be really fun way to keep it fresh. So
Absolutely. Especially, I think that really harkens to this idea of you want to not feel like you're just selling something, like you're just a salesman, but you're a well-rounded individual. You're an author.
right, right,
So yes, I think that's a great principle to inform how to approach that. Well,
absolutely.
at this point, that is all the questions we have time for in this panel. But if you have a question that wasn't answered, please stick around for later panels today. And also be sure to check out Atmosphere Press's YouTube channel. We've got previous live sessions with publishing professionals up on there, so you can get some more insights from those videos. But that being said, thank you so much to Callie Stevens and Karli Fitzgerald for sharing all of your background and your knowledge and so much advice with us today. And of course, thank you to everyone in the audience for attending. I saw so many interesting questions, and it's so wonderful to see that people are wanting to take these steps and are ready to be actionable about that. So it's great to see such an active Q&A. The next panel today is going to be a live author reading featuring 3 accomplished atmosphere authors in a variety of genres, so you can see different types of work that the press produces. We'll be giving away more exclusives in that panel as well. And of course, the books are definitely worth tuning in for, so I hope to see everybody there. To rejoin the webinar for the next panel, you'll just click the same link you clicked to join the webinar for this panel. That panel will begin shortly, so while you're in the digital waiting room, you can enjoy excerpts from the audiobook Wing Stroke by M.A. Arana. Thank you again to this panel's sponsor, The Right Atmosphere, a podcast for writers. You can use the link in the chat to apply to be a guest on the podcast. And of course, I'm happy to announce this panel's giveaway winner. The winner of a social media consultation is Jan Feeler, and you'll be meeting with Karli. So please be on the lookout for an email from Atmosphere this week about arranging the delivery of your prize. In the meantime, I'll look forward to seeing all of you in the next panel.